The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and sponsored by international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of Missing. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 40 podcast platforms, as well as hamiltonradio.net, Diamonds FM, and the mikewagnershow.com. We can be heard in over 100 countries, featuring over 1,000 well-known and amazing guests throughout the globe. And named one of the top 100 global podcasts in the New York Weekly Times, Hollywood Entertainment News, Los Angeles Weekly Times, Apple, and Chartable. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great episode of the award-winning Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. He's backed by a popular man, Portland, Oregon-based musician, and also engineer, producer, and professional touring musician for 27 years and owner of the Panther Studio. And he worked with members of the Drive-By Truckers and also the Bangles and the Decemberists, REM, and more. And he's a drummer for Jerry Joseph and the Jackmorons. And we last had him on the show talking about Axiom featuring Juggling Time, Static, You Don't See That Now, and more. We had him on last, and he's got a brand new follow called I Love You, Now Leave Me Alone. And what is that really? We'll find out just 1 minute. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, the amazing multi-talented Portland, Oregon-based musician, engineer, and producer, backed by popular demand, falling off of Axiom, the multi-talented Steve Drizos. Steve, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be back and nice to be talking with you again this evening.
And you as well too. And of course, you also had that album Axiom, which did really well. And before I talk about that, you've been a Portland-based musician, engineer, producer for 27 years, on professional touring musician, owner of the Panther Studio. You worked with members of Drive-By Truckers, Bangles, Decemberists, REM. You're a drummer for Jerry Joseph and Jackmorons. You also had Axiom as well. We'll get a recap on that. And before we get on into that, Steve, once again, very quickly, tell us how I got started.
I got started at a very young age. My father was a drummer, and some of my earliest memories were getting drumsticks in my hands and sitting on his lap and being enthralled by the sounds that the cymbals and the various drums made. He was a huge music fanatic, and so there was always Beatles, Beach Boys records being played. And I got the bug really early. I don't know if it was something in my DNA, if that stuff's passed along. My dad's siblings, that whole side of the family is all very musically inclined. My grandmother was an organist at her church, so it was just always around. It was always very supported. Kudos to my parents for having a young, aspiring drummer, and my siblings too, because when I was practicing the drums, the whole house is involved, and no one, rarely did they give me a hard time about it. They were all just very, very supportive. So I just feel so fortunate to have had that upbringing.
Even neighbors at 2 a.m, I'm sure, are pretty supportive. It's like, I normally say turn it down, but keep on going.
Yeah. And as I got older and a little better, my dad ended up buying himself, because he played guitar as well. He ended up buying himself an electric guitar just because I think he wanted somebody to jam with. But it was great because he really taught me how to sort of do improvisational stuff, and taught me a bunch of cover songs. And it was just really, those formative years of being able to do that with my dad. I look back on it now and how special that really was.
Mm-hmm. And being special indeed as well too. And you also became a drummer yourself for Jerry Joseph and the Jackmorons. You also worked with members of the Drive-By Truckers, the Bangles, the Decemberists, and REM as well too. You already have an establishment yourself.
I have been very blessed to have had a career for almost 30 years now of being a professional musician. I never have achieved I guess what some would say a lot of fame or fortune. but I have been able to make a living doing it, and that's about all I can ask for. And the key that I found over the years is to try to I diversify as much as you can. I have a real passion for the studio and for recording, so I got really involved in that over the past couple of years. Touring in a van was great for my 20s and 30s, but you get a little older and the lifestyle that gets a little old.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still able to do it. And, it's amazing that the path has always been really clear for me. Even at a very young age, it just was as clear as day as to what I wanted to do, and there was never second guessing it. And when things got tough, I just had to pivot, and I've had to do a few odd jobs along the way to make ends meet. But I stuck with it, and here I am at 50 years old, and I'm still doing what I love to do. So I think that to me is success.
And of course, you also have success as well too with your debut release, Axiom, featuring Juggling Time, Static, You Don't See That Now, and more. And give us a quick recap of Axiom and what's the latest on it?
Sure. Axiom was released in 2021. I recorded that over a course of a few years. I was going through some pretty big personal changes in my life. And that record was very reflective, a very sort of cathartic experience for me to help me through that particular time. And it was my first record, so I didn't really have any expectations. I thought I had a collection of songs that were decent, and I wanted to get them out to the world. I thought my friends and family would enjoy it, but the reaction I got went so far beyond what I ever expected. That I was very taken back by it, and I was really motivated to do a follow-up with it, and it continues to resonate with people. And it was just a big stepping stone to I think where I am now, and the release of this new record.
And of course, with Axiom as well too, you got a lot of great reception. What are some of the songs that people refer to? What do you think is like the most popular song from that release?
Well, the single is a song called Static, and that one for sure got the most attention. I found this video director. He directed and produced a great video, and that got a lot of accolades and actually won some awards for the music video. And so that song really started to get some legs and really started to take off. There's another track on there called You Don't See That Now. That's a little bit more of a ballad song. A pretty honest song about some experiences in my past, and so yeah, both those songs really seem to resonate with the audience.
And certainly as well too. And of course, you have a really good follow-up. I Love You Now, Leave Me Alone. And what's that about? We'll find out in a minute with the melted down Steve Drizos. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the mikewagnershow.com, powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking budget. SonicWeb Studios is the answer. SonicWeb Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love read it first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. And Eve Levin enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forge Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for it goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the mikewagnershow.com and our 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas 24/7, 365, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Family, friends, pets, loved ones, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/MiaMolsons. Check it out today and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the mikewagnershow.com. We're here with the multi-talented Portland, Oregon-based musician, engineer, and producer Steve Drizos here on the Mike Wagner Show of the Panther Studios. And now, from the success of Axiom comes I Love You, Now Leave Me Alone. And tell us more about that. How'd you come up with that title? I think of a cat more like.
That's kind of it's not too far off base. That title refers to I'm very much an introvert, so a lot of the themes on the record were about personal relationships, and I wasn't afraid to be really honest and get personal on it. And so the title refers to sort of the sentiment that I carry around, that I am so blessed to have amazing friends and family in my life. I have an amazing wife, but I really value my alone time, and I get recharged when I'm by myself. And so that phrase kind of came to me of I just love and adore the people around me. But sometimes I just want to be left alone, and that's where that came from.
Okay, I thought it had to do with Morris the cat or anything like that, or the cat commercials. That's amazing to think of. But it's okay to be alone at times too, and even COVID, whenever coming out of it, everything like that. So it is perfectly okay. I have friends who are like that and respect. And of course, you also had quite a few releases like Brooklyn 97202, Kitty, and Shadowlife. And tell us more about those.
Brooklyn 97202 is the neighborhood that I live in here in Portland, and that was sort of a love song to my neighborhood. I wrote it during the spring when there's this sort of the winter times in the Pacific Northwest. To no surprise to people, can be very gray, very rainy, very very grim, and very trying for people. And there's this phenomenon that happens on that first spring day when things kind of clear up and the flowers are kind of popping and the colors seem technicolor. It's really it's amazing. You kind of feel everyone's seasonal depression kind of lift at the same time. And so the song was very much about that feeling that happens. So it's a love letter to my neighborhood. Katie is a song that I wrote for my wife, even though her name's not Katie. The names were slightly changed to protect the innocent in that.
Right. Yeah. The first protection and caveat ever since radio, TV, motion pictures, and everything came out, even newspapers. I think I remember that from Dragnet, just kind of like a little flashback right there. So.
Right. Yeah. So that was an older song of mine that I had been kind of knocking around for a while that I finally got to finish and put on this record. And then the latest single is a song called Shadowlife. And if there is one song on the record that is very much sort of a mirror of what I and a lot of people were going through during the lockdown stage of the pandemic, it's that song, and it refers to, when your life stops and you have a second to kind of reflect and say, well, what am I doing? Am I really happy? Am I doing these things just because I've always done them? Shadow life refers to living your life sort of in the shadow of maybe the way that you really should be living it, and having the strength to observe that and recognize that and make a change.
Certainly did as well too, and of course with some of the other songs, what else do you base your lyrics on?
I try to write from as honest of a place as I possibly can. Sometimes I struggle lyrically, being a middle-aged, financially secure guy, who's happily married. Sometimes I'm like, well, what interesting things are there to write about anymore? But I'm still human, and I still have suffer from the human condition, and I also have past experiences that I can draw on that sometimes feel like story songs, because that the younger me is getting further and further away from who I am now, but it's still me, and they're still honest songs, and they're still real. So no matter what, I always try to start from a place that's honest and true, and from there, that seems to resonate the most with listeners.
And if there's other music that's out there that we have not mentioned, feel free to talk about as well.
So There is the record label that I'm on is called Cavity Search Records. They're based out of Portland, Oregon, and they put out a compilation in 2020, and it's called Cavity Search 2020. There's a few other songs of mine that are on that compilation. You can find that on any streaming service. I've done a record with my wife, Jenny Conley. It's called French Kayaking Music, and it's actually a soundtrack.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. I think I'll take it up as a hobby when we're done.
Yeah. It's a documentary that soundtrack for a documentary that we did of a film from the same name, and that's just it's instrumental. Mostly my wife's composition. I help produce it and record it. So yeah, when I'm not making my own music, the band, the Jerry Joseph and the Jackmorons that I play with, we're putting out records and touring quite a bit. My studio, The Panther, is constantly busy with great local bands. Too many to name right now. So it's just
understandable unless somebody's famous.
Yeah. So it's a lot and it's a hustle, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Mm-hmm. And where can we find your music at? And what's the website you want people to go to?
You can go to stevedrizos.com. That's Steve, DRIZOS.com. And on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, it's all under my name, Steve Drizos. I have a YouTube channel that has some great music videos. And those are the main spots where you can go to check out the music.
We certainly as well, too. Once again, we're with the amazing multi-talented Steve Drizos of I Love You, Now Leave Me Alone here on the Mike Wagner Show. And what else can we expect in 2024 and beyond, Steve?
Well, the biggest difference with this record compared to Axiom is that I put a band together for this record. Axiom was very much an insular project where, I was in my studio by myself, playing most of the instruments. And this one, it was much more collaborative. So I'm going to be doing some shows, mostly here in the Pacific Northwest, just because it's just financially difficult to get a band out on the road these days. Mm-hmm. So a lot of local shows. The record comes out on February 16th, which is this coming Friday, on Cavity Search Records. And yeah, hopefully I'll be doing some touring this year. And I'll just be really trying to get this record into as many ears as I possibly can.
And we'll certainly do as well, too. And once again, we're with Steve Drizos, the multi-talented musician, engineer, producer of I Love You, Now Leave Me Alone here on the Mike Wagner Show. And Steve, a very big thank you for your time as always. It's great to have you back. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your music?
Once again, stevedrizos.com. That's Steve, DRIZOS.com. You can find all the information there. There's a shop there. You can go to my Bandcamp. It's all under the same name. And please check it out. I'm really proud of it. And Mike, thank you so much for having me on the show again.
And thank you as well, too, Steve. And once again, a very big thank you for your time. You're always amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Just keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love having you back. Wish you all best. And Steve, I don't think you'll be left alone for a while. I'm kidding. But all best. You definitely have a great future ahead of you, Steve.
Oh, I appreciate that so much, Mike. Thank you.
It all comes down to how you see it. The way the light reflects and curves and bends. Illuminate the current state of what is going down. Alleviate or elevate the darkness that's around. And how you choose to perceive it. The in the neighborhood. Stars are on and don't it feel good? Summer nights in the neighborhood. Colors back and don't it feel good? Summer light in the neighborhood. Stars are on and don't it feel good? Summer nights in the
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host, and I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written, it's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show. Brought to you by international award-winning author Mia Mohsen-Zia of Missing, and powered by Sonic Web Studios. Be sure to join us again on over 40 podcast platforms, and of course on the mikewagnershow.com, hamiltonradio.net, and Diamonds FM. Don't forget to support our program with a generous donation at themikewagnershow.com. Thanks for listening.